Hi everybody, Charles here. Welcome to Backroads Living. In today's video, we're going to take you to Walmart. We made a trip to Walmart today and we're refilling some of our gaps that we've created in our pantry over the last month or so. We talk about all the time how that we need to refill the gaps, and those gaps happen just from normal use, normal everyday meal preparation and things that we do like that. And it can kind of sneak up on you sometimes, and you can kind of get out of something or be out of a product or real low on a product before you realize it. Well, today we refilled some of those holes that we had created over the last couple of months. Now we're like you and most everybody else. We don't have the extra money to run out and just buy this stuff at every whim and anytime we want to. We have to wait till we build up the money to do it as well. So when you see us making a haul like this, it's not something that we do every week. It's we're no different than anybody else. We have to take our time and manage and budget and do what everybody else does to fill these holes up. So let's look at some of the things and how we do our pantry. Is a lot of times if we can get like 10 or 12 of an item, we'll buy those and put them back if it's something that we use quite often. And then when we get down to 3 or 4 left, we'll buy back another flat of that item. And that helps us get ahead just a little bit as we go each time. And that's how we do some of the stuff that we buy. Not all of it, but some of it. And it seems to work for us. And if you can do that, that's great. If you can't and you have to get 2 or 3 at a time, that's okay. Get what you can, because we get 2 or 3 of a lot of stuff at a time. And it's not always stuff that we use a whole lot. But we always try to get something when we go to the store, and that's what I always encourage you guys to do. Anytime you go to town, don't make it a wasted trip. Pick up something for your pantry all the time. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I want to show you is something we pick up real regular. It's flour. We buy our flour. We bought 2 of these today, and we put these back. We put them in the freezer when we get them in, and we let them freeze for 3 days, usually to 4. And then we lay them out for a couple of days to allow them to come back to room temperature to where they don't have any moisture left in them. Then we vacuum seal them and put them away in tubs. And we recently have heard articles or read articles and heard news articles that deal with flour and flour shortages. So we're trying to watch that, and we want to try to be sure we pick up flour every time we go. One of the things we found on sale today was this raisin bread. We don't eat raisin bread a whole lot because of the cost of it, but when it's on sale for $1.06 a bag like this, we'll pick one up, and we like that with cream cheese. Throw it in the toaster and heat it up and put cream cheese on it, and we really like it that way. It's a real good treat. Good dessert right there. Another item we pick up from time to time. We don't eat this stuff real regularly, but from time to time we like, as you'll see, that we like a treat every now and then, like everybody else. And this is one of the better treats that we do enjoy, is the chewy fudge brownie mix. And you can take a handful of crushed walnuts and put in this when you're baking it, and man, it is so good if you like walnuts in your fudge. And then we picked up these Walmart brand saltines. We usually get 4 or 5 of these at a time, so they'll last us for a while. These are cheaper than the name brand, and in our opinion, they're just as good. That's why we buy them. Another thing we picked up is this great value grape jelly. To us, this jelly tastes just as good as the name brand, and it lasts just as long. And we picked up a couple of those. We got low on the jelly. And another thing is these Van Camp pork and beans. Now we like those pretty well, and one of the things I do when I fix pork and beans like this by themselves is I'll put like a teaspoon, not a teaspoon, but a tablespoon of brown sugar in them. And when I heat them up, we throw them in a kettle and heat them up and with a little brown sugar in them, and they're really tasty like that with sandwiches and things. that we make like that for just a little side dish for them. Now here's something we haven't been buying before, but watched a video the other day. Somebody was talking in that video and they mentioned that they bought popcorn. And I thought, popcorn? We've not bought any popcorn. Well, why would a person want to stock up on popcorn? And when I got down to the store today, to Walmart, and we got to looking at it, popcorn's high in fiber. It's 100% whole grain. It has 27 servings per bag of this. So I told Sandy, we picked up 3 bags of these for $1.98 a bag. And I said, that's almost 30 servings a bag. If you try, you can get 30 out of it. So that'd be 90 servings for $6. So where can you pick up 90 servings of something that's like this for $6? It's whole grain and high in fiber. So, you know, hey, maybe we need to be stocking up more on popcorn, as well as the other dried stuff like rice and beans. So if you don't have some popcorn, you might want to get you some, because it's not hard to fix popcorn. You put just a couple of, probably a couple of tablespoons of oil in the bottom of a kettle with a lid. Heat that over medium heat. Just cover the bottom of your kettle with the popcorn. You don't want to pile it up. You want it just covering the bottom of the kettle, and heat it till it quits popping, and you've got popcorn. Season it in to taste. Another thing we purchased today is, like we always say we try to get, is beans. We got 2 bags of these 2-pound beans. We try to pick up beans. Guys, listen, we need beans and rice. If we don't get anything else, we need beans and rice. Another item we picked up that we eat a lot of, we eat a lot of spaghetti. Now, spaghetti is one of the cheapest meals that you can find. We buy the thin spaghetti, and it's like 98 cents a pack for the Great Value brand, if I recall correctly. And we'll eat 2 to 3 meals out of 1 box for me and Sandy and Jeremy. And then we use the meat flavored sauce, the Walmart brand, for 98 cents. And there's just no way to beat that for a meal. For spaghetti and this meat like this meat sauce. You don't have to have meat with this. We eat this a lot without any meat in it. Now sometimes, if we've got extra, I will put hamburger meat. I'll grind up hamburger meat in a skillet and fry it and add this to it. And it does add to the taste. I'll throw a little bit of onion salt in there on top of it, and onion powder, and it's really good like that. So yeah, we get that too. We got a case of that because we eat a lot of it. Now we had used quite a bit of our stash we had, so we're replenishing it, and we'll have a couple left over, more than we had the last time. So that gives us a little bit more each time, okay? Granulated sugar. We always try to buy, not always, but we try to buy this monthly. Not every time we go to the store, but at least monthly, because we already had a pretty decent stock of it. But the more I think about the way things are and the way things could be, I'm not satisfied with anything I have, as far as whether it's a month, 6 months, or a year's worth of food put back. If I've got room to put it back, we're going to continue to buy it as long as we've got any money to buy it with. We bought 2 of those. When Venezuela collapsed, when the economy down there collapsed, those people have been in a collapsed economy now for 20 years. Having a year's worth of food certainly helped them, no doubt, to prepare for what was coming ahead of them. But when they used up what food they had put back, then they were into a position that they had to grow everything that they had, or just barter and trade and things like that to get what they needed. So we need to have all we can put back and do the best we can. That's all you can do, is the best you can. And nobody can expect you to do any more. And when you've done all you can do, just stand and have your faith in God if you're a follower of Christ. Now, Chef Boyardee lasagna, this is something that our son likes really well, is the lasagna. And when we get low on that, we try to buy a case of it up again. There's 12 in this. They were 98 cents a piece, I think, if I recall right. And we had got low on it, so that's going to give us, 3 or 4 extra ahead of where we was at before. So we're just filling gaps is all we're doing with this stuff. We're not stockpiling. We're filling gaps and going to have a few left over more so than normal. Let me get this over here with some more of that popcorn. We buy this right here. This can be vacuum sealed. We haven't yet, but it can be, is this chicken flavored rice. We eat this a lot with the chicken meal that I mentioned to you before, when we fix chicken and broccoli and rice like this. It's just really good with that canned chicken that you buy at Walmart. And I've got a recipe for it, I think, on the website. If not, one of our previous videos has that in it, and we picked up 6 of those. That'll do us well over a month. And we also have picked up a couple more jars of peanut butter. We do have some peanut butter left, but we had worked our way down in it a little bit, so we're replenishing that. Got a couple of cans of peanut butter, a couple of jars rather, not cans. Now these are in plastic containers, but they have a good date on them. These are dated out to July 24, 2022, so that's real good. We picked up our jug of creamer for our coffee. That's something Sandy drinks creamer in her coffee. I don't, but she does. And we need that on hand to just make things a little more pleasant, you know. Nothing wrong with that. And salt. We do have, we've got salt that should do us for, I don't know, 8 months or a year. But again, it's 48 cents a jug. So we're going to keep putting back as long as we've got room to stock this stuff. We're going to continue to buy it and get a few ahead each time that we possibly can, because we don't know when this thing's going to break loose. We don't know when this thing's going to come crashing down. I'm confident it is. I just don't know when. All we can do is guess and watch what's going on around us and hope that we're as prepared as we can be when it does happen, because it's going to happen. Too much going on. Right here is another thing that we try to keep on hand is Bragg's apple cider. Now we drink a tablespoon of this every morning with a tablespoon of honey, and this is really good. It helps with our acid reflux, acid indigestion, and things like that. Keeps the pH of your body right, and we always try to keep a good supply of this white vinegar on hand, because this stuff is just, this has so many uses. It's just excellent stuff to have on hand. You can't have too much white vinegar. Okay, let's just keep going. Right here is another thing we purchased, is a flat of these Brooks beans. We fix a lot of chili here at the Key's house. We like chili, and we use Brooks beans to fix chili with. Now we use 2 of these cans to a kettle of chili, and we use about 1 pound of hamburger meat, 1 of these or 2 of these. Of course, the chili is really good. We like it. These Brooks beans we think are just really delicious, so that's what we use with that. And we do that maybe once a month, so we've got enough here to do about 6 months worth of chili. And we had got low on it again, so again we're not just stockpiling this stuff. We've bought up a flat of it, and it'll replenish what we've used, plus it'll give us 4 or 5 extra ahead of what we already had. So we're just trying to gradually get ahead doing that kind of stuff, okay? And if you can afford to do that, when you can afford to do that, you might want to do that with things that you eat a lot. Now what I'm showing you here today, outside of the popcorn, which we had not been talking about much, she and I, but everything I've showed you here today is things that we use and things that we consume on a regular basis, or use on a regular basis. So these are not like stockpile things that we're going to be go-to things if we run out of food. These are things that we eat, okay? And here's another thing is, now this is mine and Sandy's. When we eat the Chef Boyardee, we eat the spaghetti and meatballs. This is the one that we buy. And we had worked ourselves down a lot of times in the evening. If we don't feel like cooking, that'll be our meal right there. 1 can of this to feed both of us. And, 98 cents for a meal, that's not bad. But a lot of times we cook, a lot of times we don't. It just depends, like I said, on how we feel. But we picked up a flat of that because we had worked our way down to where we didn't have just a handful of these left. So again, this is not stockpiling this stuff. This is filling in the holes that we had made. and giving us just a handful extra over what we already had there. And that's how we like to do ourselves. That's how we've gained over the year that we've been doing this. You know, this past spring made a year. So it's been about a year and a half now. And we're working on being real close to everything we have, having a year's supply. But we're not there yet, but we're almost there to having everything at a year's supply. Now, we picked up a 8-pound bag of these at Walmart in the Great Value brand. Now, this other brand I showed you, these to us seem to have a little bit better taste, but they're more expensive than these. Now, I think these were a couple of bucks, if I recall, about $1 a pound. But now this was $14 and some odd cents for, no, this was $6 for 8 pound, and the 20-pound bag was $14 and something. But I opted for the 8-pound bag this time because I'll have to break it up, and I vacuum seal all this. I freeze it and then vacuum seal it, and I'll break this up into 1-pound bags and vacuum seal it in 1-pound bags. But anyway, that's what we did today. If you've enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our video and hit that bell icon to be notified of new videos as we upload them. If you're not a subscriber, we'd really appreciate you subscribing. So thank you all for watching, and we pray the Lord watch over and care for you. And as we always say, prep, 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 but prep your souls first, and then prep those pantries. Keep those gaps filled in, and when you can do it, add extra to it. Don't waste a trip to the store, and as always, we appreciate you. And until then, we'll see you in the next video.